Fever, Lexie Hull shared a fun photo with a nod to Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham's Leches trio. The renowned Indiana group is back in the spotlight after Hull's post. After finishing her third year with the Indiana Fever and reaching Game 5 of the playoff semifinals, Lexie Hull is taking advantage of her free time to rest and visit places during the WNBA offseason. On one of her trips to Chicago, the 26-year-old guard discovered a coffee shop with an interesting option that reminded her of her teammates. Hull shares a photo with Clark and Cunningham. Indiana's number 10 posted several stories on her official Instagram account, sharing with her 440,000 followers several snapshots of her trip to Chicago, rating the sights and food 10 out of 10. However, a photo of the Chicago French Press coffee shop caught the attention of Fever fans and Hull herself. The coffee and tea specialty shop shared a latte called Leches, available only at select locations. The drink features caramel and cinnamon notes, bold and flavorful espresso, and a touch of creaminess and sweetness, with the option to enjoy it hot or cold. Hull saw this drink on one of the posters at the cafe, took a photo of it, and shared it, saying, at Chicago French Press 10/10 la, and then added, had to try ikick. The trio of Lexie, former Phoenix Mercury star Sophie Cunningham, and former Iowa Hawkeyes player Caitlin Clark has made a big leap and become very popular thanks to the support of Fever fans. This year, unfortunately, injuries took their toll on CC and Sophie. Clark was only able to play 13 games in total due to injuries to her quadriceps, ankle, and groin. She averaged 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, 8.8 assists, and 1.6 steals before having to leave the court. Cunningham suffered a torn medial collateral ligament in her right knee, ending her first year at Indiana in August with averages of 8.6 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 1.2 assists in 30 games. Averaging 7.2 points, 4.3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and 1.2 steals per game, Lexie had an injury-free season and one of the best of her career, becoming a key player for the team. While recovering from their respective injuries, the three stole the show at the LPGA's Annika Pro-Am tournament, where Clark participated for the second consecutive year and Hull and Cunningham accompanied her as her caddies. Meanwhile, Hull is the only one of the three who will join Unrivaled for another year, the league co-founded in 2023 by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart. It will kick off in January and feature other WNBA stars such as Paige Buchers, Aaliyah Boston, and Sabrina Ionescu. The Indiana Fever practice gym had always been noisy, basketballs echoing off hardwoods, sneakers squeaking like excited birds, but today it buzzed with an extra layer of mischief. It was Lexie Hull's doing, of course. She strutted into the gym with a grin so wide it practically announced something's coming without a word. Caitlin Clark was at the far basket getting shots up, headphones around her neck blasting some late 2000s pop that somehow always improved her shooting rhythm. Sophie Cunningham, meanwhile, was dribbling around cones with a seriousness completely at odds with the colorful scrunchie in her hair. The contrast was pure Sophie, intensity with a sprinkle of chaos. Lexie set down her phone and adjusted the tiny cardboard pastry box she'd picked up on the way to practice. She cleared her throat dramatically. "Ladies," she declared, "your third Leche has arrived." Caitlin caught her mid-release, the basketball leaving her fingertips in a perfect arc. "Oh no," she muttered. "What did you do?" Sophie dropped the ball and marched over. "Oh, explain yourself." Lexie opened the box with a flourish worthy of a stage magician. Inside were 3 small Leches cupcakes, one decorated in fever red, one in fever yellow, and the last in fever blue. "Because," she said, hands on hips, "we are officially the Leches trio, and I'm tired of waiting for you two to accept that." Caitlin blinked. "Since when are we a dessert?" "Since Sophie and I decided we're sweet, dangerous, and impossible to handle," Lexie said. "And since you're part of the chaos now, that makes you a Leche too." Sophie nodded solemnly. "Honestly? She makes a strong argument." Caitlin sighed. "I hate how well that metaphor works." "Exactly," Lexie said, already positioning the 3 of them near the Fever logo on the wall. "Now we take a picture. For the fans. For the culture. For the dessert community." Sophie cackled. The dessert community? Don't judge me, Lexie said, shoving cupcakes into their hands. Smile. The photo emerged perfectly chaotic, Lexie flashing double peace signs, Sophie flexing one arm like a professional wrestler, and Caitlin caught mid-laugh, leaning into both of them as if accepting her fate. The cupcakes looked ridiculous. The energy looked perfect. Lexie snapped another, then one more for good measure, then a boomerang where she pretended to cheers the cupcakes with the others. She was on a roll. Which one are you gonna post? Sophie asked, peering over her shoulder. Lexie shrugged. Why choose? Within minutes, her Instagram story was live. A collage of their grinning faces, the caption stamped boldly across the corner. Trace Leches, with 3 tiny milk carton emojis. Caitlin facepalmed. The emojis, Lex. Sophie slung an arm around Lexie's shoulders. No, this is genius. Our brand is officially unhinged. Correction, Caitlin said, your brand is unhinged. I'm merely associated with it. But the damage was done. Lexie's phone began buzzing immediately, players from around the league sending cry-laughing emojis, Fever fans reposting the trio's photo, analysts joking that the three had formed their own dessert-themed super unit. Wait until the media day questions, Sophie said with a wicked grin. Sophie, as a Trace Leches founding member, how do you feel about your synergy with the other dairy products? Caitlin groaned. I hate how much I'm laughing. Lexie clapped her hands together. Alright, Trace Leches, practice time. They started drills, but the energy had shifted completely. Every time Caitlin sank a deep 3, Sophie yelled, "That's 1 milk." Every time Sophie hit a spinning layup, Lexie shouted, "Leche energy." And every time Lexie made an off-balance floater, Caitlin muttered, "Dessert power strikes again." By the end of practice, the Fever coaching staff had no explanation for why the trio was playing with so much synchronized chaos, but they weren't complaining. That evening, Lexie checked her Instagram again and nearly spit out her water. Thousands of likes. Hundreds of comments. A trending hashtag, #TraceLechesTrio. But the best part? Actual dairies were commenting. Real ones. Indiana milk producers had posted, "We support this team." Some bakery in New Orleans wrote, "Come get free Trace Leches anytime." Even a popular cooking magazine commented, "We need a recipe collab ASAP." Lexie grinned. "Oh my gosh, we're a brand." She turned her phone toward Sophie, who burst out laughing. "This is everything I've ever wanted for us." Caitlin, curled up on the couch with a protein shake, shook her head. "Unbelievable. I sign with the Fever and suddenly I'm in a dessert-themed trio." "You're welcome," Sophie said. "No, seriously," Caitlin replied, pointing to the screen. "We're going viral. Because of dessert." Lexie chimed in, "Because of friendship disguised as dessert." The room went quiet for a moment, rare, given who was sitting in it. Sophie softened her voice. "Honestly, it kinda fits."